Okay, good morning. Good morning, sophomores. I hope that you're having a beautiful Monday. Happy Monday. It's so great to see you all again. Um, I just want to go ahead and give you an overview of your two assignments. If you're missing this because you have a college course, that's fine. I will go ahead and upload this live recording underneath for fourth quarter resources. So no worries if you're in the midst of a college course. Or maybe you overslept, hopefully not. This will be available. So this is just going to be a quick overview upon what is occurring this week to ensure that we have an understanding. If you have a question at any time or concern, you can always feel free to upload it within the live chat on the side as I'm going over this and I will address it. Okay, so this week we're continuing on with our poetry unit, and I have issued two assignments. One is actually on a new platform called Parlay. Parlay is another technological educational platform that allows for us to be involved within discussions. I can either have it go live or I can have it as just something student paced online. This time I decided to go ahead and have it at online. So due to some schedule conflicts, I understand for your class. And in the future, if this becomes our new normal and we develop a schedule that's not going to have any time conflicts, we can go ahead and go live with it. Okay. And I've also have attached a video underneath for fourth quarter resources to assist you if you are having any issues trying to join. But you should be able to either click on the link provided and it should take you there. If not, you can at least take the code that was issued within the stream and join. Okay, so moving forward, the first assignment that I will go over is called the Slam Poetry Tasting Assignment. Okay, and I will go ahead and review that. So before I even get to that part, slam poetry is basically when you have individuals who go on stage and they perform spoken word or their poetry in front of a panel of judges. And the judges actually generate a score, and that's how they choose the winner and stimulate competitions. But basically, it's spoken word. A lot of these poets have their poems memorized. Okay, before I get into that, so that's what slam poetry is. Sometimes they use music, sometimes they don't, but it's primarily them just using the art of their mind and improving how they want the audience to receive their actual poem. So if you go on the slam poetry, excuse me, tasting assignment on Padlet, I give you the instructions, which states select one slam poetry performance that capture your attention from this link, and I offer the link, and it is workable. Once you click on it, it will take you to 40 engaging slam poems, okay? And then it gives you further instruction. First, number one, create an extension from that poem. Start with the quote extracted from the poem beneath the video. Okay, so once you go on there and you click the link, you'll see that there are 40 different videos of slam poetry. So once you click on that link, as you're going through and you're watching the video, immediately after the video, there's a quote that has been extracted from the actual performance, from the actual poem, okay? So when I'm talking about creating a poetry extension, I just want for you to take that quote and just go with the flow, extend from it, okay? Basically, you're generating a poem off the basis of that person's poem with their quote, okay? There's no rules with the direction upon how you're gonna go through it from there, okay? It's free. The only stipulation for that is that you actually take the quote that was extracted from beneath the video and use it to generate the poem. That's what we call a poetry extension. So then moving forward, number two, type the gist of the poem. Be sure to include the poet's name or names as prompted, okay? And I'll go over that with you. And we're talking about the gist. We're talking about actually creating a summary that highlights the main idea of the poem, okay? And number three, explain your sentiments towards the poem. So basically, when we're talking about sentiments, we're talking about your emotions, how you feel. So I want to just you the type of response of what was your opinion. And then 4, be sure to add the video to your response, kind of similar to when we were on our virtual field trip and you actually added your meal. I was able to see the photo or whatnot. You should be able to also upload the video from YouTube by copying the YouTube link, and it will actually upload the thumbnail of that video. So I need for you to place that there as well. It's very important, and I'll explain why in a few. And ensure to include your name and the title of your poem in the subject line. You have to include the title of your poem and your name so I can be able to give you credit. So please include your full name and the title of the poem. You cannot have the same poem as someone else. You cannot, okay? There are 40 different poems, 20 students within the class, okay? At least the least that we can do is diversify the poems. If you select the same poem as someone else, then you're both going to be issued a 0. So it's very important that you ensure that you select a different poem, okay? And I will try to monitor that as well, okay? So make sure that you scroll through and you look to see who has done it. That's why it's so important that you write your name and the title of the poem and who the poet is in the subject line, okay? Very fair, very simple. I'm just going to go ahead and review the poetry. The poem I chose, which unfortunately you cannot choose, is Gina Loring's Somewhere There Is a Poem. And I went ahead, if you go on to Padlet, and I wrote down creative poetry extension. And it says, quote, and this came exactly from the video. It was beneath the video provided on the site. I'm down for the revolution, which may not be televised and it may not get radio play, but it will be told through poetry. So I went ahead and I formulated my quote and I highlighted it so that when Ms. Winters, as your teacher, I come on here, I can see exactly, what's going on. And I numbered this creative poetry extension. So I'll just go ahead and do my performance. And basically this extension was, it was literally just whatever was on my mind at the time. I didn't, I just went ahead and I just went with the flow, which I want for you to do. So it may make sense, it may not. It's just where I went with it. Okay. So turn your cameras and camcorders off and turn the light bulb on in your head so you can see where I am coming from. The country dirt roads where dust drifts for miles is what you will see. Your nose will be entertained by charcoal, hot dogs, hamburgers, and ribs. Your ears will be in tune with the repetition of the electric slide and drunken laughter. Your heart will flutter from the base of my cousin Maurice's whip when his Camaro approaches. Your throat will enjoy the cool of Huggies and the water hose after playing tag. Your mouth will curl upwards from the endless jokes sprinkled with humor and truth, leaving the palette of your face with hints of red. And the only thing that will glisten is in the sun is the sun on various shades of skin. What a masterpiece. A work of art designed by family, one that belongs in a museum. For the history is too rich to be televised for certain moments. It deserves to live forever and be protected. But as of now, my mind is the museum. And so will be my future children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren who will pass down the story for continuous generations. So, no, this revolution will not be televised, but rather testified, soon fantasized, and forever memorialized. Our tongues, the paintbrushes, our minds, museums. How beautiful, how lively. Mobile art, better than cell phones wallpapers. Okay, so that's just basically what I came up with, and I look forward to whatever you all came up with. The gist, I went ahead. Gina Loring's poem titled Somewhere There Is a Poem. Everyone should start off with the stem because, for one, it offers the author's name. It offers the genre of the poem that's being written. The genre of the text is being written, which is the form of a poem. And it also offers the title. So start off with that. Encapsulates reality, how everyone has a story via their culture. She then dives into her Mexican culture and experiences. Loring then explains how existentialism and systematic racism has contributed to the injustice of society. Poetry is the medium she uses to convey her sentiments, along with her high hopes that these social issues will soon be addressed regardless of how much airplay or exposure it gets. So that is the gist. So remember, the gist, you need to include the author's name, the fact that it's a poem and what the title of the poem is. So that was the gist. And then number 3, I put down my sentiments, how I felt, and I said, honestly, when I first heard this poem, I thought it was too accelerated and extra. Yeah, once I took the time to replay it, I noticed the extreme depths Gina Loring went to address identities of underserved demographics. She addresses the ugly truths of those often disregarded or discarded and encourages individuals such as myself to learn to confront and resolve those truths in an effort to create or acknowledge the beauty of it. And then you'll actually see the actual video attached. So, which is very important. So as people are, well, not people, as your fellow peers, as in the students go through the actual gallery to ensure, number one, that they're not taking someone else's poem, they can go ahead and add the actual clip. That way, anyone who wants to go and look at it and review it can get a sample of it, which is why we call it a slam poetry tasting. Okay, so that's what needs to occur. Moreover, so that's it for that part. So it's very important because we will be using these poems more than likely for a future assignment. So you want to take the time out to do your creative extension, the gist, and things of that nature. Take your time and go through with it. Again, it's just a creative extension. However you extend it, whatever direction, that's fine. Okay, moving on to Parlay. Parlay, once you click on the link, you'll see that there are the learning objectives and the goals. It'll take you to the thread. And it states students will build an understanding of expressing their insights through the creation of their own poetry about how they are living with our current world crisis as their culminating task. Okay, so basically the poem that you'll end up creating, the theme is going to circulate around the crisis that we're undergoing, COVID-19, aka the coronavirus. Okay, and we'll get more in depth to how you write that, but that's the theme. Okay, so then moving forward, I have implemented content and media that was inserted in Nearpod last week. So for you to be able to use these as references and motivation for answering the discussion question, which states, once you scroll down, complete the prompt below. 1, as it was with each of our mentor poets, and those are the poets that we referenced last week, Tupac Shakur, Elizabeth Acevedo, and Robert Hayden, and Langston Hughes. Okay. All right. As it was with each of our mentor poets, we often think of ways to express our thoughts about ourselves and if we should truly dare to share those thoughts with others. As your culminating task, each student will create an original poem using your choice of the poets we have studied as a mentor text. Use the poet's ideas for guidance on how you might share or express your thoughts about yourself, or how you might share your thoughts with others in a poem. You will decide how to use poetic elements, use figurative language or imagery to convey your theme and create meaning. So when we're talking about theme, we're talking about the main message, or the overall message, the central idea of what it was about altogether. Okay, what was the message that was being pursued throughout the entire poem? Okay. Moreover, you have to ensure that, so basically the theme of the poem we're focusing on is the crisis that's occurring, which is COVID-19, aka the coronavirus, and whatever direction that you take with that, that's fine, but that's the theme. That's what we're talking about. That's our main idea. What are your thoughts and feelings towards it? I mean, this has been a very trying time. Do you feel as if you're able to discover different parts within yourself? Have you learned more about yourself? Are you being more productive, or are you being procrastinating or whatnot? This is a time to reflect. Or how do you feel about what's going on around the world? It's a pandemic. Or how do you feel this is going to affect how we return to school? There's no right or wrong. I'm not giving you any other stipulations within the poem except just to do your best, because other people will be looking at your poems. Okay, this is basically, your drafted response. We want to explore our creative juices within this. And then last but not least, looking here, you have peer feedback instructions. Provide 3 peers feedback. Additionally, ensure you include one of the following for each: a GIF or a photo, a TED Talk or YouTube video, a collegiate or helpful article. Ensure any feedback given is positive, beneficial, and school appropriate. So you should be able to actually comment on your peers' poems, and it has to be beneficial, positive, and helpful. Okay, so you can still critique someone and be respectful. Okay, you must do that. In addition to that, you need to add either a GIF or a photo that's motivating, or you can add a collegiate article. Maybe someone was talking about COVID-19 in Maryland, and you found some articles that may inspire them to recreate or uplift their poem in the future, because more than likely we'll end up performing this. If you could put like an article, maybe it was like something that you heard within PG, or maybe it was something that you heard in a different country or whatnot. Or you can even upload a TED Talk or a YouTube video to help get the juices flowing or inspiring. So it's a lot of free will, but you must incorporate written feedback. Okay. So one more again, if there are any questions, please put them in the live chat on the side. I'll give it 2 minutes, but while that's going on, just an overview. So you're going to do the slam poetry tasting. Ensure that you number those 3 items that I'm asking for. Your creative poetry extension with the quote from the actual video that you place. Add your poetry extension, then the gist, which is the summary of summarize the actual slam poem that you tasted or experienced. And then last but not least, on the poetry slam tasting, you need to add a response about how you felt about it. Okay. It's very important that you attach that YouTube video, because other people, not only myself, will be looking for that video, and they'll also be looking to see your name and the title of that video so they can avoid doing the same video as you. Again, there are 40 different slam poems. So again, there's so many options. All right. Well, I don't see any other questions. You have my phone number. You have my, not only do you have my phone number, but you have my email as well. There are so many different ways to contact me. I'm available. Also, virtual office hours will be occurring at 1 o'clock today if you need to follow up. All right. Best wishes. I hope you enjoy it. Take care.